big, and when the injury bug bites, it bites hard. Will the Cubs join the Cardinals in the search for mid-season replacements as the All-Star break looms? It's an early trade deadline preview on this week's Team of Rivals podcast, and it all starts now.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. Playing a high drive into left. Back towards the creek. He's at the track. He has it. And the world champion for 2011. A little bounces slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
This is the Team of Rivals podcast. No insiders, no anonymous sources, just passionate analysis from the bleacher seats. Here are your hosts, Ron Nuttall and Peter Geddes.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do.
Come on, Elliott.
Is all right for me.
You don't want to hear me sing.
You make me feel so brand new.
No? Nothing?
I want to spend my life with you.
So, Ron, is Sarah going to be upset that you're playing her sex music on our podcast?
Since we've been together, ooh, loving you forever.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I wanted to get us into a sensual mood tonight because things have gotten better, I think, for both teams over the last 4, maybe 5 days.
Are we going to talk sensual baseball?
No, I moved right on to serious shit.
We can talk sensual baseball.
Hey,
go on.
I love the way you hold that bat, man.
Do you?
Ben Zobrist.
The way
you always
back and forth.
Jesus. If I could just get visuals out of my head, this would all work. This is not going to work on audio. Anybody listening in the car is already done. Man, they're already done. We've already tanked it.
What do you mean they're backing it up 30 seconds so they can listen to it again?
Should we do it again? It's still going.
Yeah. Just wiggle that back and forth for me, baby. What you come on now. I was just about to get to the good part.
It's fine. Nah, it's a happier family sound there. We can't go that route. Yeah. So yes, another week, another show, and a different vibe this week. If you're a Cardinals fan, the Cubs fans might feel a tad bit better. Walk out of LA today with a split.
What are you smoking?
You don't feel better?
No, not at all.
Why? I mean, it's a 11-5 tally today, man. How do you not feel better?
Have you been sharing weed with Joe Madden?
Did he wear shoes today in the dugout?
His take coming out of today's game was, well, except for the fact that we got hit by Hurricane Cincinnati, this was a pretty good road trip. No, it wasn't. You got hit by Hurricane Cincinnati, you old fool. You got swept by a last place team. I don't care if they've been playing well. You got swept by a last place team. Don't try and continue polishing that turd. You played terribly on this road trip. You went 2-6. You're in the midst of, 17 days in a row without rest. You just lost your third baseman for a week. Your big free agent acquisition is injured and is not coming back anytime before the All-Star break. And you're trying to tell us.
Let's get back into the mood.
On the road trip is a good thing.
Wow. Is there spittle all over that microphone? You need to put your pop filter back on there, man. Just keep it clean. And poor Elliott's sitting there like, what the hell is going on tonight? This is unlike
Elliott's happy.
Elliott, okay? Is he frozen?
Elliott, are you there?
He's doing a trick. He's playing like he's frozen on there, but he's not.
He is. No, I just saw him move.
Oh, he twitched.
Oh, he's got a slow connection.
Oh, man. We've had connection problems all night tonight.
That's not what we want.
No, that's not what we want. It's not what we're going to deal with either. Pete put himself on mute. Son of a bitch. His audio problems tonight. He put himself on mute.
Yeah, I'm having difficulties over here. So,
well, you unhook and you dive back in, my friend, if that helps.
Yeah, this is the first time I've had connection problems.
It's because
you're going to have to go fiber too.
It's because you're in Canada.
Do you feel better, Ron?
Marginally. I'm not going to go all overboard and say
you can't ignore the first four games of last weekend.
He is off by 3 minutes. He has a 3-minute lag. He's putting his pop filter on. He was dude, I'm kidding. You don't put your pop filter back on. Jesus, this is totally bad radio. I'm describing to you what I see. I have Elliott, and I just see his profile picture. I think he's going to check out and check back in.
I'm feeling self-conscious. I'm
Pete took just a little bit of criticism about slobbering and spittle all over his microphone. Now he's got his pop filter on. It's blocking half of his face. And this is a great live show on YouTube.
I'm sure the people watching on YouTube are probably thankful.
Oh, shit. Well, no. I mean,
come on, Ron. Yeah. We all know that we all have faces made for radio.
Oh, I do. I don't even have a voice made for radio, man. Where does that leave me? That leaves me where all of us are, and that is, okay, there you go. He's adjusting something now. This is a distracting show, just given what we're all doing and pictures in the background. Like, we haven't even got into anything yet. I don't know if we're ever going to get into anything. We dabbled in baseball. We give you just the tip of the baseball conversation, and then we drew back, and nobody knows what we're going to get now.
Just the tip? Where's Let's Stay Together again?
You wanted it, buddy.
Well, you were just going to give us the tip. Oh, this is fascinating radio.
It is. Are we going to do this till Elliott gets back on? Or, I mean, we're going to, I'll tell you what, let's break down some serious talk over Al Green.
For my reaction, we're waiting for Elliott to get back on. So how about your reaction? How do you feel over the last?
My head was held at least to a proud height. Not an overly proud height, but let's say a content height. Facing a division leader, and they took you the first 2 games, but you somehow figured out how to win the next 2, and you walked out the split.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no. I was being selfish.
I was talking about the other division leader.
No. I was talking about stick with National League Central here for a second.
Hey, I have to say, we Cubs fans are very thankful that you guys earned that split.
I'm sure you are, and that's why I'm sure that's why we haven't. Okay, well, the song's over. I'm not going to play it again. Elliott can join when he can join. And let's see here. He had sent a text, which is another good thing to explore while you're doing a live audio or an audio thing in general. That was my brother texting me. Never mind. Scott is probably asking if we're talking about our sports ball right now, and he'll talk to me later. I feel better that they split, given that they were facing their division leader. That they were, I don't know how many games they were behind. They ended up walking out equal, but they had dropped the first 2 in pretty miserable fashion, by the way. So I think the Cardinal Nation and their club, I would have to guess without being there, it's pure fan speculation, right? This is what we do. I would guess that things hit rock bottom on Friday night after they had dropped not only like consecutive series sans Reds to all the cellar dwellers in each National League division, that they had dropped the first 2 to Milwaukee, and I think things were looking pretty damn miserable to Cardinal fans. It was not a good vibe. It was not a good sense that we got out on the Facebook page, and Facebook page alone. If I would have been unhooked to the internet in general, I was pretty miserable on Friday night. When they came back and they beat them on Saturday and then beat them on Sunday, I'm like, okay, well, we've had a couple players that have started swinging the bats better. Fowler had I'm nowhere near calling it a resurgence. I'm not even calling it a turnaround. I'm saying it was a positive sign, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to make it anything more than what I've just seen with my eyes. Matt Carpenter is looking like he has found somewhat of his old form, but I got to see a longer stretch of games. But the fact that Tommy Pham's he's struggling right now, man. He's struggling, and he might lose his bet on himself.
26, I think.
I know before. Well, I think he's in an 0 for 24 slump, and that might have been going into last night. But yeah, it has been brutal. But he did not take an off day today. He was working out and taking batting practice and doing all kinds of things at the stadium today, according to what you read. But getting back to it, the Cardinals had to go home and face another division leader. Now, granted, it's from the weakest division in baseball, in AL Central, but it's still the Indians. They were still in it last year. They were in it the year before, and they took 2 out of 3. Flaherty came up on the short end today. I say that with my usual disclosure. They lost 5-1. So even if Flaherty would have had a great outing and only given up 2 runs, he was still getting the loss because the offense only put up one run. So, that's pretty much Cardinal for you, that they just can't quite finish off things. The exception of the Reds this year, and so I think that's the story so far. And we can get into more detail on what I think they may or may not do and what position they're in right now. But I feel a little bit better this week. It's not quite as miserable. But how do you guys feel? I know you guys are pretty pissed off, Pete. Sorry for playing. Sorry for playing Al Green over you, and we'll let Internet Lagger there.
No, it's quite all right. I'm curious.
Testing.
Yeah, we got you now. We got you now.
I think Elliott is probably gonna. I'm just guessing, based on his frequent use of the term doom boners, he's probably going to have a more optimistic take on the last week than I will.
All right, doom boner, let's go.
No, I watched all 4 games of Cincinnati in the hopes towards the end of that series that the Cubs were going to kind of come out of this funk and do a little damage. I mean, the Reds are in last place in the NL Central for a reason. I know they put up a lot of runs, but I figured we could jump on their pitching and have at least a decent weekend. It was awful. Not only with the injury bug that hit the Cubs, but the bullpen just was terrible. The situational base hitting was terrible. There was zero execution anywhere. I was not having fun watching any baseball this weekend. They decided to salvage this road trip with LA by splitting the series, which I'm happy that they split the series, but they still did not look good in those losses. Kyle Hendricks is starting to worry me a little bit. That home run ball is just killing him. I know he was getting eaten up by the umpires and he wasn't getting any calls on the edge compared to what the Dodgers pitcher was getting. And normally it's kind of the same on both sides, but it was egregious what was going on between the calls. I mean, there was a couple that they missed on the Dodgers side, but I think it was totaled like 15 or 16 balls that should have probably been called strikes were not. So,
all right, for those of you who are watching right now, if you think that this is just rumblings of a whiny Cubs fan, hit the like button on the episode right now. If you agree with Elliott, hit the like button on the episode right now, and we'll sift it out. And we'll sift it out, and we'll sift it out later. Yeah, no, Elliott, you sound like I felt a week ago that when it comes to the point where what are you doing?
I'm trying to get my phone to mute.
We're about to take his shit from him, all his sound equipment, because he's getting out of control, and he has been for the last 4 episodes.
I'm just,
when people call into the radio and they say, "Hey, can you turn your radio down? Shut that shit off."
Yeah, exactly. Hey, by the way, speaking of that, do you have your ringer off tonight, Elliott, or do you have your man vibrating thing on tonight? That you
vibrator. My man vibrator is turned off, and the ringer is on mute.
I said, "Fuck you, Jobu. I do it myself."
Amazing.
It is. It's like being in a wave pool and not expecting to slap upside of the head. Yeah. So where were we? Yeah, you sounded like I did a week ago.
Yeah.
All of us, when we get to the point where when these teams are just not fun to watch anymore, and I think baseball's got a bigger problem, which we harped on last week as well. When the product out there is just not entertaining enough, and I find myself even being a loyal fan. You guys know me very well. I live and die with this team, but there are nights where I could be doing a lot of other things, and I end up finding myself doing those other things because this is just not fun to watch. When they're not executing, when it seems miserable, it's tough. I mean, I'm not going to spend my time sitting there torturing myself when I could be doing other things like this. So I've been in that place a lot in the near duration. I've been in there a lot longer than you guys have. Fortunately for me, that I've seen this for far too long. And but this last week there have been signs that this thing could possibly turn around. And I'm not saying turn around 180, where all of a sudden we see the 2000 Cardinals, that whole decade. We're not going to see them back anytime soon. But I've seen some signs that some guys are showing life. Matt Carpenter, that Pete and I just spoke about, that's certainly one. If he can figure himself out, and he seems like he has. But I being the skeptic here, I want to see it for a few more weeks before I say, hey, we got Carp back. Pham concerns me a lot.
Greg Holland looks like he actually has figured things out.
That's amazing. Yeah. And none of us, right? None of us paid close attention to Greg Holland. He's been in the he's been in the NL West for a long time, and that's not the Rockies are not somebody we follow day in and day out here. So if he has, hey man, that's a bonus right now.
And you guys are getting Paul DeYoung back soon.
Yeah, hopefully he's back. But again, somebody being so young, he only has a year plus under his belt right now, guys. So he's been out for an extended period of time. I don't expect the full Paul DeYoung back when he's back. I think there's going to be a period of time where he's trying to get his, knock the rust off, get his fill, get his timing back. So he's not going to be 100% ready to go. He's not going to be 100% Paul DeYoung out of the gate when he comes back.
Right.
So just realistic expectations, I think.
Yeah. The funny thing too is you look at how frustrated we both are, all three of us. I mean, both of our teams, that's what I mean. And yet you look at it, and a little over or a little under a year ago, we had an episode titled 43 and 45.
That was misery.
Your team, yeah, that was miserable. And we sound more frustrated now than we did last year. Your team would have to go 1-8 in their next game, in their next 9 games, to get to 43 and 45. Our team can't get to 43 and 45. If they lose their next 8, they still don't get, they're 44 and 45. It can't happen. And listen to us. Both of our teams are over 500, and we sound like it's the end of the world, and we're fighting the Reds for last place.
Well, with our eyes, though, guys, we're not seeing good baseball. I mean, not consistently. We see it game in and game out, but we don't see it day to day to day. What we see is our teams beating themselves a lot. We see our teams on random nights just not look like themselves. It looks like other players in their uniforms, and I think that's where you start to get fatigue. I'm getting fatigue seeing the team perform inconsistently. It gets like that. Imagine being as diehard of an Orioles fan as we are of our teams. And imagine seeing this for an extended period of time. And you just, I mean, I don't know how some of those folks keep it up. I don't know if I could, man.
I wonder if the way that they keep it up is exactly how Cubs fans were able to keep it together for so many years.
Just sift the fun out of it. I mean, you're like a gold miner at the sifter. You're just looking for a nugget every now and then, and you're happy.
And also Camden Yards is a great ballpark.
Yeah, better than Wrigley, right?
Wrigley.
Better than Wrigley, I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
E,
there we go. Are
you freezing again?
Is he with us?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just listening this week.
What did you just say? Did he just go, yeah?
Yeah, I think he said, yeah.
This is brutal.
I think one of the more frustrating things about the year
Hold it right there. Oh, it switched to my face. That was a good image.
Is he on? Are you on a dial-up connection, Elliott?
Are you on a rotary dial connection?
Elliott is on 28.8 baud.
He's gonna get as pissed as I was that night. I couldn't connect. He's going to flip on us.
He's going to call in. He's going to pull a Braden and he's going to call in.
Yeah, Elliott, just calling on the phone line tonight. It's hot. It's ready to go.
Ron's used to taking phone calls.
Oh, shit. I am.
Oh, man. This 400 megabyte connection. This is ridiculous.
Right.
Professional all the way. Look at that image. Oh, I've got a screen cap.
Oh, man. The show I recorded prior to this, there was a guy from Arch City Media named Aaron Mullins, and I was looking forward to having him on, but there was tornadoes and stuff that ripped through the air. Well, tornado warnings and a big storm that ripped through the area, and he just could not get a cell phone time. The guy, I give him credit. He tried to call back like 16 times, but every time he'd be in the middle of a point, he would just like vanish and like shit. So that's going to take some surgery there. But Pete, we had a few things here that you had put down that we probably need to talk about, and it's a little bit bigger news. One concerns your former pitching coach and Chris Bosio getting fired.
Yeah, pretty abrupt
by the Detroit Tigers, and that's a story that's brand new and fresh to me. I'd only seen the headline. I had not known the context, but can you enlighten us on what happened there? Give us full context too.
So all of a sudden, late in the day yesterday, it was announced that Chris Bosio had been fired by the Tigers. And there was initially no detail. Eventually it came out that he had made racially insensitive remarks and that he was very quickly dismissed. Today, the story came out. Somebody got in touch with Bosio, and he said that the story is that they were talking in the locker room on Tuesday about somebody that they were thinking of, I believe, calling up. And Bosio apparently has a nickname for this kid. He's in the minors or something. Has a nickname for this kid. He calls him Spider Monkey because he's this skinny white kid who makes funny faces when he warms up. And so Bosio has taken to calling him Spider Monkey. And so when they talked about bringing him up, Bosio said, "Oh, you mean Spider Monkey?" And right then a black clubhouse attendant or employee or something walked by, overheard it, thought he was talking to him, reported it to the team. And yesterday when Bosio showed up for work, Al Avila called him into the office and said, you're fired. And Bosio tried to give his side of the story. And Avila said, we've done enough. There's no going back on this. You're done. So it sounds like this all happened pretty quickly. Obviously that's Bosio's side of the story. And the Tigers are not talking about it, which makes me kind of suspicious. Because if that's not the story, why would you allow that side of the story, which sounds like an overreaction, to go unchallenged? And so, who knows? I would imagine Bosio, now, to his credit, Bosio is out there trying to fight for his career. Because if this latches onto him, he's done in Major League Baseball, right? He's not going to be able to get another job if it turns out that he actually was referring to this clubhouse person as a monkey and not this other minor leaguer. But if he was referring to that minor leaguer, then Ron, I guess I probably should tender my resignation because I call my kid a monkey all the time. So
because your boy is a little bit longer, lanky, and he can climb up on stuff, and that's why you probably say that, right?
And he just acts like an idiot and makes me laugh at some of the funny things that he does, and so I call him a monkey. So it's been a good year and a half run, Ron. But
we're gonna have to let you go.
My racist tendencies have finally reared their ugly head, and I guess this will be my last episode.
Yeah, so we've got a couple.
Titled Pete's last episode.
Yeah, it is. I don't have much to say about this. I mean, if it's if Chris Bosio's story is factual, if that's true. It's a shame that somebody who's been in the league this long and, has interacted and been around all types of players his whole career, and to have one thing you said, I'll say if his version of the story is factual, if that's true, it's a shame that somebody gets a label like that permanently attached to them. If it's not true, then that's the price you pay. Yep. If you were saying something that's just blatantly wrong, and you knew it was wrong, and you knew the consequence. I mean, everybody nowadays, if you're in any type of public spotlight whatsoever, even if you're an assistant to somebody who's in the spotlight, you say something wrong, I mean, this is the consequence now, and you know that, and you got to live with it. But if his version's true, I don't know what to say, Pete. I mean, part of me is like, if Bosio truly was talking about a white kid, a white pitcher, and that's how he was referring to him because of the way he warms up and the faces he makes, that'd be a shame that occurs, that happened to somebody, and somebody just happened to hear it and didn't know, and it landed on them the wrong way. I mean, you would think that you would think that common sense would prevail, and everybody would be able to, okay, that was a totally caught that comment at the wrong time. I didn't know the context behind it, but now I get it. No problem. But the fact that the Tigers let him go, I have to put some kind of faith and confidence that the Tigers did some kind of due diligence behind this, or they made the appropriate call, or I say that that organizations are so petrified of being caught up in this type of controversy that they cut all ties to anything that has anything to do with anything, and they don't want to be part of it. So I don't know what to think, and I don't have an opinion on it. I just know that I've never heard Chris Bosio's name ever mentioned in that kind of context, that he's like that, and so it'd be I'd be shocked. So he's had to coach and mentor guys from Latin America, certainly African American pitchers that have come up through minor leagues and systems. He's been in baseball for years, right? So it'd be a shock that somebody who's been in the league that long all of a sudden is revealed as somebody who's racist. It doesn't really.
Boz was a really well-spoken coach, and I mean, they had him on The Score every Tuesday to talk to him about what's going on with the Cubs, what's going on with the pitchers, and kind of like they did with Don Cooper. He's just a real well-spoken pitching coach that knows what he's talking about, and I don't see him acting like that for all the times that I've listened to him on the radio talk about baseball. I think he's been, like you said, he's been around baseball for a really long time, and a lot of guys know there's no room for that kind of stuff in baseball. I mean, because you're working with all types of different guys, right. So those
and not even the players. I mean, the story here is it's not even the players; it's people. I mean, the team. Clubhouse, I know we don't think of it in this context ever, but the team and the unit that's working together year round it goes beyond just the 25-man roster and the coaching staff. I mean, right. you have a field crew, you have security, you have a team trainer, you have clubhouse attendants, you have all kinds of things, and you would think that
equipment managers, workout managers, workout coaches.
Think about this to that point, right? This is Chris Bosio is new to Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And perhaps I'm just saying, like, this is just me speculating, guys. None of us know the true story, so I think our opinions stop at some point that we would be shocked if we heard Chris Bosio is really like this. All of us, I think, would be like surprised, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah, I was stunned when I read the story as it developed yesterday.
Now, if I'm not saying like one way or the other. The Tigers acted in a certain way, and you have to think that an organization does some sort of due diligence to prove out things, and so maybe not. I don't know. It's all a sensitive topic, so you never know how individuals or a collection of individuals are going to react based on what the consequence could be. So I guess my point is that Chris Bosio is new to the organization. Maybe this clubhouse attendant didn't understand or know him that well and heard a comment and just it landed on them in a terrible way, and they felt like bad. and so you can understand that part of it, certainly. But I just don't. I don't know, man. I don't have much more to say. I mean, none of us know the whole truth, so we can't. We can only.
Here is from the USA Today story. This is Bazio's side of it. Bazio said he was questioned about the incident Tuesday afternoon in a private meeting with Al Avila, assistant GM and general counsel John Westhoff, and manager Ron Gardenhire. They asked him point blank if he used a derogatory word. I didn't deny it, but it was directed at Stump and the face he makes when he lifts weights. That's it. Bazio showed up to work Wednesday, was summoned into a conference room and fired. Avila said, we got all of our information and we're firing you because of your insensitive comments, Bazio said. I said, comments? There was one comment and it wasn't even directed at the kid. Al said, we in Major League Baseball have a zero tolerance policy. I said, Al, I don't have any issues with anybody. I didn't cross the line. I'm really sorry, but that's not my intent. I can't believe this. And then later on, he said, this kid and I had a great relationship. This kid played jokes on me all spring, and I told him, now you're offended because you heard the word monkey or spider monkey, and it's not even directed at you. We crack fat jokes on our trainer every day. All kinds of things are said in a baseball clubhouse. And for this to happen to me, I don't know what else to say, but I know I don't deserve this. If that is what happened, he just got railroaded. And I wonder if, look, we don't know what's going on, but I wonder if this wasn't an opportunity because things aren't going as well in Detroit as they had hoped, that they found a scapegoat and they found a way to get themselves out from under him. But he's apparently exploring with his attorney the possibility of a wrongful termination suit. So it'll be interesting to see what develops.
Yeah. Then ultimately, I think when all the facts come out, then we can kind of give a true. All we're given is a knee jerk on things, and certainly, I think we on the show are we do our best to be sensitive, and I think we really kind of hold back until all facts are out. I'm certainly not going to judge either side on this. I mean, none of us we don't want to spend our time on this show covering things like this. This is not what we are.
No.
We open the show with Al Green.
Yeah.
Okay,
in the first
show with Elliott not being able to connect and his
that's
face
true.
frozen on screen. I mean, this is what I would rather do, is make fun of Elliott's shitty internet connection tonight and talk about stuff like this.
And the first thing I thought of when Pete told me what he had said was Talladega Nights. I mean, that was the first thing that came to mind, is when they're all sitting around, eating over the hard-working, home-cooked meal of Kentucky Fried Chicken and Taco Bell, where the kids are like, fuck you, Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first thing. That was the first thing that I thought of.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
All right. Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what a spider monkey looks like. I'd have to look it up on Google to see an image.
They're tiny little monkeys. They're tiny little black furred monkeys with white faces and really long tails. Or no, they don't have black faces or white faces. They're all black. I'm thinking of that stupid monkey on Friends. No, spider monkeys are like all black. They're a small to medium sized monkey, all black, really long tails. And if you go down to Costa Rica, they're everywhere. They're like squirrels. No joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Okay. News to me.
I
like the ones off of what's the show my kids watch?
Dora the Explorer?
No.
I can't believe we're talking about monkeys on a baseball podcast.
I like it. I want to go about species of monkeys, and I'm thinking about the ones on what's the damn show with Ben Stiller, the lion? Come on, Pete. Your kids probably watched this before. What the hell is it called?
Oh, Night at the Museum.
Oh, Night at the Museum.
No. It's an animated thing. It had David Schwimmer in it. He was the giraffe.
Madagascar.
Oh.
The lemur.
Oh yeah, those were lemurs.
Yeah.
Those are lemurs. Shit. See, when you said spider monkey, I was thinking lemur.
No.
Okay. Well,
no.
Shows you my
knowledge. Hey, how about we talk about something good? The Cardinals finally found somebody who wants to sign a multi-year deal in St. Louis.
Bud Norris. Sign him.
Bud Norris.
Keep him, man. He's done well. I think he's found his niche. I think he's found his way. I'm cutting out a lot of that podcast. I am. I don't know.
That one just went down the memory hole.
Yeah, it went down the split feature on YouTube hole. No, Bud Norris. Hey, you know what? If that guy wants to be there, if he likes it there, if he likes, he wants to wear those birds on a bat, and he's had a pretty decent season. Shit, guys, Anybody who wants to be there, lock him up. Lock him up for
because there aren't many of them.
He's not gonna shut up, Pete. He's not gonna. I mean, this guy's not demanding a 7-year contract. He's not demanding what Greg Holland turned down last year. So I think right now you've got somebody that's passionate about being there, and they can walk after this year. You do that. You do it. You sign him to he's a bullpen guy, so he's not going to be demanding $10+ million a year.
Well, he's a bullpen guy who used to be a starter. But the fact
thank you for putting the picture up there, Pete.
Hey, you wanted to know what a spider monkey looked like.
Okay.
He's a bullpen guy who used to be a starter, so he has a value, but he's clearly no longer sees himself as a starter, and you're absolutely right. That will help them to sign him.
Yeah. So there's the one guy that wants to stay in St. Louis.
Hey, congratulations. It's about time you found one.
So we got Bud Norris, Yadi Molina. All right, we're off to a good start. Although they're on the wrong side of 30, that's fine. Yeah. St. Louis has taken hits not only on the baseball side over the last 2 years about players opting to not go there. I think the Blues have experienced the same thing.
Yep.
And I'm not as familiar with hockey because I abandoned hockey when I went in the military. All of a sudden, their home whites were replaced by colored home.
Uh-oh.
Here it comes. Are you guys ready?
Wait, before you answer, is he going to talk about Bud Norris?
I've already answered.
You didn't know what a spider monkey looks like?
I didn't know what a spider monkey looks like.
Dad!
I didn't know.
Really? Well,
did they teach you that stuff in school? Because when I went through middle school and high school, Braden, nobody ever showed me a book of what every species of monkey and ape look like.
I guess you learn something about your old man every day.
How's that supposed to mean?
I'm not gonna call you dad.
I think he emphasized the old in that sentence.
He did.
He did. He stressed it. It had an umlaut over it.
Ooh, you're gonna be pops now, not dad. That hurts.
You're my old man now.
All right, boy. Well, whenever you think you can take this old man down, you just let me know.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah, he snickered, but he's not. That was a fear snicker.
You know what's crazy?
No, I don't know.
No.
Can't wait to hear it though. Tell us.
Listen, Shu Wong-Oh, the good old O, tries to give up one of his walk-off home runs, but out of nowhere, Randall Grichuk jumps like 100 feet in the air and robs a home run over a fan. Can anyone play me a highlight when Randall Grichuk ever robbed a home run off of one of O's attempted walk-offs? Oh, wait.
Attempted walk-offs.
Never. Because O always was successful at his walk-offs. And I heard this every single time. It's gone! And the Cardinals lose another dang game from Shu Wong-Oh. That's what the announcer should have said. Because I don't know how Randall Grichuk is that good. Well, he's not good, but he never did anything good for the Cardinals besides when they called him back up and played a game against the Cubs, hit a home run against them. That's the only thing he ever did in St. Louis. And you know what blows my mind? Matt Carpenter goes 5 for 5 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. It's SportsCenter decides to talk about Giancarlo Stanton batting practice home run over Matt Carpenter's special night.
Yes, yeah, you're right, Braden. I don't deny that one. He's got a valid point there.
He does.
Matt Carpenter had a fantastic game.
Like
Yeah, Matt Carpenter had a fantastic game, and yes, he's absolutely right. Like the highlights on ESPN was Giancarlo Stanton hit a milestone batting practice home run.
Well, I mean, Shohei Ohtani is down on the DL, so
he's only coming back as a position player. By the way,
somebody has to take over the batting practice home run lead.
Yeah.
Hey guys, are we going to give a live view of the home run derby this year? Are we gonna do a live cast of that? I mean, without showing it because we can't, right?
Why?
Exactly. Why the hell would we? None of us are gonna watch it. Are you gonna watch it?
Hell no.
Who's going to participate in it? No one
Bryce
wants to
Harper.
participate in it because it messes up their swing.
Bryce Harper said he would if he's voting.
Aaron Judge doesn't want to be in it because of that. I mean,
I think the perfect one, no joke, for
look at Aaron Judge after the home
You should
run derby.
have a bunch of DHs and pinch hitters participate because that would be the best show.
No, you
Like,
should.
Mark
Javi
Reynolds.
Baez would be
Mark
amazing.
Reynolds.
Javi Baez would be perfect because his swing would not be screwed up by participating.
You know,
It
because
might help
he
it.
swings as hard as he
No,
can.
they should-
on the first two
Okay,
pitches.
the only way
He disregards, like, we're in the middle of a conversation. He's like, no. I'm injecting my. He is Braden. I know you don't know this show, but you are a Stugotz.
I
As a
know
Levitar
that
show.
show.
He just wants to. Braden is not listening to us. All he's thinking about is what he wants to say. So go ahead, Braden.
So the only way I'd be interested in anything in All-Star break is if they were to have a pitcher home run derby, because that'd be just amazing.
That would be more. That would, guys. He's got a point there. Braden, stop.
Yeah.
Stop for a second.
And they've talked about this the last couple of years because people like Max Scherzer, Jake Arrieta have said, "Hey, man, I would definitely do a pitcher." I mean, these guys are always swinging at garbage anyway.
I would have a fair amount of money on Flat Bill on that one because when he did connect on a home run or two, he did not look like a pitcher when he did it.
Right. Oh, Bumgarner is another one who could,
I'm tired. I'm tired of this Bumgarner thing. Like, where the hell's he been for the last 2 years?
On the DL.
Yeah, hurt.
Yeah, I don't. Let's wash him off. He's done.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, he's done. I'd rather see Zambrano back into it, and I'd rather see him. I'd rather see him lose the home run derby and then beat the shit out of a Gatorade machine. That is TV.
You know who needs to come back for the home run derby?
Thank you.
No, come on. His name was just in the news again yesterday and today. He's back in the news again. Come on.
Sammy.
Yeah.
All right. What's the latest on Sammy? Come on.
Give him his corked bat back and let's go nuts, baby.
Yeah. He still denies taking.
Not only does he deny
ever testing positive for PEDs in the U.S. That's what he said.
Oh yeah, that was one that came out today. That's right. Did you?
I never tested positive for PEDs in the U.S.
I've not even seen the headline, guys. So you're gonna have to fill me in like fresh.
Well, he's apparently making another push. He was interviewed by SI, and I gotta find it. Oh, here it is. You ready? So he pretty much laid bare everything. So he keeps
turn the volume down like halfway though, if you can.
He keeps going with the whole Sammy Sosa stuff, saying that he really doesn't care. That it's not a big deal, that, he would love to come back to Chicago, but he doesn't, all this, that he's a selfless guy. And then there's a quote in there. Where is it? He talks about passing Ernie Banks.
Oh, yeah.
More home runs than Ernie Banks.
Oh, God.
And he says, he has a statue. I don't have shit. What the fuck? Well done, Sammy. Way to prove that this is not all about you.
Yeah.
Ernie Banks has a statue, and I don't.
All right.
What an asshole.
Play the clip.
What an asshole. I don't have the clip. I was looking for it.
I thought we were getting set up for the clip.
No, we were, so that I could read it, but I can't find it.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Right. But yeah, so Sammy says Sammy's pissed because he doesn't have a statue outside of Wrigley Field like Ernie Banks does. What a stand-up.
I feel bad.
Yeah, me too. Found it.
Womp womp.
Bum, 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 bum.
Here it is. I passed Ernie Banks for most home runs in Chicago Cubs history. He has a statue, and I don't have nothing. So what the fuck? Well done, Sammy.
God, I can't believe he said
Sammy,
that.
thank
What
you.
What a douche.
Yep.
Braden, you still there?
I'm thinking of what else would make.
Is that what that
make
noise
the
is?
All-Star break good. Oh,
I heard
no,
really.
you know what I would enjoy,
Yeah.
Dad?
Yeah, I totally want to know. Let's go.
Have Shuang-Oh pitch.
He's still on
normally.
Shung-Won. All right.
Have him pitch normally. Like, have him throw the fastest he can throw in a home run derby, and I guarantee you they would still feast. Guarantee you. Then
So so Braden, hold on. Whoa, stop. You're saying just have O pitch to every batter in the home run derby, and we're good to go.
Yep.
Okay.
They'll hit even more home run derbies. You don't even need to juice the balls. You don't even need to have people throw 50 miles an hour.
Why are you still mad at him? He's not on the team anymore.
Because
Hey, man,
he's
anytime.
so bad. He gave up a grand slam like 3 days ago, and then he tried to give up another one. But
He tried to give up another one.
Yeah,
He
because that's what
turns
he's
into
doing.
like, I don't know. Like,
This goes along
a
with Braden's comment
superhero,
last year
and
that Trevor Rosenthal just decided to walk the bases loaded. Yeah, I'm just going to walk the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Challenge myself a little bit.
Hey, Braden, in answer to your question 2 years ago, Randall Grichuk robbed Howie Kendrick of a home run in LA. So there you go. Oh, and he also robbed George Springer of a game-tying 3-run home run. Oh, wait, that was the game 2 days ago. Hey, but he did rob Howie Kendrick when he was playing for the Cardinals. So there you go.
Yeah. So how about that, Braden?
What?
You didn't hear what Pete just said?
No, I can't hear Pete.
What the hell? Why do I buy this stuff?
Worst show ever.
I'm not spending another dime on it. Any of this. Braden, I love you.
I love you too, Dad. Even though you're my pops, I can't call you Dad.
You don't call me pops ever.
Pops.
All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you.
Episode 30.
Shuang-Oh.
Don't call me pops.
He sucks. And he still sucks.
Okay. I think you're delirious. You need to go to bed.
It's 10:20, man. I got MLB franchises to make.
Okay, well, go make your franchise and update us on it.
Hey, has Ron gotten any better?
All right.
Because I'm going to make a pitcher so bad. I'm going to make him a 0 overall, and I'm going to make him start every single game of the season, and I'm going to tell you what his ERA is.
It'll be better than Ron's fake pitcher.
Yeah.
And better than
Yeah.
someone
All
else.
right, buddy. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Long hours.
So I want to kind of roll back to something when I had slow internets. The last week I felt like my
sad, Elliott. You felt like you were getting into like an AA meeting.
I was. I felt like my enjoyment of the game of watching the Cubs was just kind of diminishing because the players that I really like to see have success are not having success right now. And Rizzo had, he's been struggling the last week. I mean, today he had a great game, but just overall over the course of the year, he's been struggling. And it's just, I really feel bad for the way that he's performing. And I'm glad Cubs fans haven't got on him the way that Cardinals fans have gotten on Dex, but his is a little bit more and fam. Dex is a little more extreme.
Your story right now. Just give him some breathing room.
Go on, Elliott.
So, but at the same time, we are kind of in the position that we are in this year because we are getting very good performances out of guys who had struggled in the last year, in Hayward and Russell. It's been more talked about with Hayward because of the drastic turnaround, but Russell is putting together a really nice year. I know the RBIs aren't there and the power's not there, but he's still hitting, he's getting on base, and he's scoring runs. So, and I'm happy to see those two guys having success this year after the last year with Russell and the last couple of years with Hayward. So Hayward's been a really nice success story this year. And I got to tell you what, I said Chili Davis has got to be feeling really good about himself with kind of helping turn that around.
I don't know, man. I mean, this team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pete. Before you even say it, Pete, I kind of know where Pete's going on this, guys.
I just said about with Hayward. I'm not talking about Rizzo. I'm not talking about anybody.
I'm talking about with Hayward though. Is it Pete? Yeah, I think you're.
No, wait. The team as a whole. If I'm Chili Davis, I don't feel so good about myself.
No, Hayward, I'm just talking about Hayward. Yes,
because I will say at this point,
has he been the one person that can actually get through to the guy? I mean,
apparently so.
Yeah,
apparently so, and so I will declare.
I declare.
Hold on, say that again. Back up. Back up.
What?
Back up. Make sure this is okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, mark the tape because you're going to want to put this into your into your soundboard if you can get it to work.
Yeah.
At this point, I am totally. This is not a 1 or 2 week fluke. This is
that is not what you were saying. You said I declare, and I want to hear you say that again.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. Okay. This is not a 2 week stretch. This is no longer small sample size.
Just say the line I want to record.
I'm going to.
All right.
We're over a month with this level of sustained success. I am ready to declare. I am fully. See, you interrupted. I am ready to declare. I am fully on board the Jason Hayward bandwagon. Come join me, Cubs Nation.
Oh, that's gonna suck when that doesn't work out. Anyway, thank you for that, Pete.
You're welcome. Yes, did you mark the tape?
5110. All right, got it.
Got it. I will put it into mine as well for the.
That is going to be that will be along the lines of just anything I have in the soundboard, which I've been really bad about maintaining. But it's just like it's sort of like just it's not playing. Let's keep going. What are the things you guys want to discuss tonight? Because this is round table. This is guys at a bar. This is not
Elliott to answer.
It's structured, but of course, while I was pining for time there, I'm just gonna say something like that.
Elliott, in answer to the question that you were trying to pose there, I still watch the games, but I don't find myself as excited because I know that half the time I'm going to be extraordinarily frustrated by all the runners who get left on base or by guys who previously had established track records of being control pitchers suddenly being unable to find the strike zone.
Yeah. I mean, Dunsing is broke. Yeah, Kyle Hendricks is broke.
No, is he broke?
Darvish is still broke.
Now, Kyle Hendricks, let me ask you guys about that because I saw the headline that he's kind of admitted that something's off.
Yeah.
So enlighten us Cardinal fans on the failure of this guy.
I even think today he said, or yesterday he said in the post game, he's like, I sucked. I think that's exactly what he said. He's like, I sucked. He's like, the bullpen kept us in. He's like, I couldn't do anything. He's like, I couldn't do my job today. Yeah, that's pretty much what he said.
Saris did a deep dive on him, and really, ultimately, it's coming down to his fastballs. His 4-seamers are down, and his 2-seamers are up, and that's exactly the opposite of where you want them. And he's not able to get them in enough, particularly to left-handers, and it's his fastballs that are getting crushed. That's where he's
and where he's missing out on the edges, and it's forcing him into the middle of the plate. And when he throws to the middle of the plate, he's getting freaking crushed.
Right, because he only throws 88 miles an hour and he can't beat anybody with his fastball. And
he can't go over the heart of the plate at 88.
No, you can't go over the heart of the plate at 88 with a 4-seamer that's low and a 2-seamer that's high. Because ultimately what that means is that the ball ends up in the middle of the plate. 4-seamer is supposed to be at the top of the zone because then they can't get on top of, or they can't get underneath it.
Right.
They can't get on top of it. And a 2-seamer is supposed to dive out of the zone, and it's doing exactly the opposite.
And you know what? A pitcher like Kyle Hendricks is so unique in this day and age when we have bionic, one-dimensional pitchers that go 100% max out on every throw. I mean, they throw with the same arm strength of a 4-seam fastball that they do a curveball.
Right.
And then you have an anomaly that wasn't an anomaly like 10 years ago when you had guys like Greg Maddux still in the league, or possibly even Glavine, who didn't try to overpower everybody. They tried to get guys to swing where it would not hit on the main part of the bat, and they could get them out. And it's just, guys, we're old, and we want to see that kind of baseball again.
Yeah, we do.
Question is, does the new generation want to see the same thing, or do they want to see? Look, we have the World Cup going on right now, right? A lot of action in between scoring. We know that people just looking at. I don't know if soccer has box scores or not, but if you're just looking at scores, and people that don't know any better, right, look at soccer score and they see a 1-0 score, and they're like, "Well, that's damn boring. They never score." But if you've watched a soccer game and you're into it and your country's into it and you're watching a World Cup, it's pretty damn exciting. I don't care what the score is. There's action constantly, kind of like hockey. Well, some hockey. The boring hockey games are when the puck stays in the middle of the rink and everybody's just slapping it back and forth and nobody cares. But I'm just kind of wondering if like people aren't looking at this baseball the same way and being like, Jesus, this is either a low scoring event, or they're just waiting for a home run every now and then. Like nobody cares if there's 2 runners on to lead off an inning. They just want to see. Thank you, Lenovo, for giving me that alert and interrupting the show. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but
nope.
Good. It'll show up in the recording though. Nice. Yeah, nice. I'm just wondering if people nowadays are like, it's home run or bust. It seems like, and I just really hope baseball doesn't latch onto that.
Well, Ron, maybe we could take a page from the game that I attended on Sunday and go back to 1858 baseball rules.
Yeah.
Where the
tell us about that, because you sent a bunch.
It
of
was pretty
cool.
cool.
You even sent an old timer video.
Yeah, I've
that was
got
pretty
an
neat.
That did that. These were the original.
I really would have loved to have music accompanied to that, like a silent
I can work on
movie.
That. I can work on that now that I'm done for the month of July. I'll set that aside as one of my.
So you don't have to report into work for a month, like you're off.
Yeah, I'm off.
Fuck you.
We're earning our explicit tag this week. Yeah, so they played according to the 1858 Knickerbocker rules. So the pitch was delivered underhanded. The strikers, what we would call batters, were able to call for strikers. They were able to call for the pitch where they wanted, either high or low. Balls could be played on the first bounce, and it was an out. However, if that happened, base runners were able to advance at their own risk. They didn't have to tag in order to advance. So if a ball was hit to the outfield and it was caught, the runner or the hitter was out, but the base runners could continue to run. They didn't have to tag up. They didn't have to wait for the ball to be caught.
Were these the rules when the Cubs won their first 2 World Series?
No, this was before they won the World Series.
Elliott's the only one that got it. He answered it seriously. Elliott's the only one that snickered at it.
I didn't snicker because it's not funny. But yeah, actually, it was loads of fun, and it was a little bit hard to follow as a modern baseball fan, because you would see plays and
you were calling for the shift.
Well, yeah, exactly. Actually, there were no shifts. That was the other amazing thing. But also it was a little incongruous, because you would see what looked like a great hit, a nice drive. And there was one play that one of the outfielders made running away from the infield. The ball was hit over his head, but he was close enough that he was able to catch it on the bounce. And so it actually ended up being an out. And you're like, wow, what a great hit. Oh, wait, no, that's an out. But then also seeing runners advance without having to tag up, just taking off because they knew the ball was hit far enough that it didn't matter whether or not it was.
Those are good rule changes, and folks,
they were, but it was fun to watch, at least for an exhibition.
For like what, 15 minutes?
It was about an hour and a half long game.
Okay. So anybody who's resistant to rule changes, I mean, just take note of some of the things that Pete has said to us. Imagine how boring games would be if a single bounce was an out in this day and age.
And this was the one, boy, this actually
imagine a line drive to the shortstop, just a short hop, catch it. Don't even bother running to first, right?
Yep. Don't even bother throwing to first. One hopper, that's an out. One of the interesting things, though, was that strikes were only called if you swung at the pitch. So if you let it go by,
I would have made it all the way if that was the rule.
you let it go by, it's not a strike unless the umpire determines that you're just wasting time, you're biding time, and then they can warn you. But the way that the rules are written, it's only a strike. It's only a strike if you swing and miss.
Yeah. If I would have been alive then, I would have been a legend.
Anyway, what else do we want to talk about, man? I mean, we teased that this was going to be trade deadline talk, and we haven't talked about the trade deadline.
We haven't yet. So let's tackle that real quick. So it's come out, and a couple of heavy media writers have said Machado is now the Dodgers seem to be the favorite.
Yeah, and apparently the groundwork has been laid. There's been no other team connected to it, but apparently the trade framework is ready for Cole Hamels to move.
Where?
That's a great question. No, there's been nothing.
Yeah.
All I've seen is reports.
Yeah. All right, so let's throw out some team names, guys. We'll go round robin here. Okay.
Cubs.
Yeah.
Phillies.
Brewers.
Ooh, at the Cardinals.
I like that one. No.
But they won't. The Brewers won't. Apparently, their top trade target is another offensive player. I think it's I think the name I heard connected to them is Dan Dietrich.
They're complete hat dipshits. They need a pitcher. They need to.
Yeah, they don't need more offense.
Hit up New York.
Yeah,
Mets are for sale, man.
I know.
Yeah, and I saw.
Insane.
They're stupid. Although Yelich went out of today's game with a sore back, and Lorenzo Cain is on the DL, so maybe they know something that they're not disclosing. Maybe Cain's more injured than they've let on, and he has been their MVP to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But still, who else signs Hamels or trades for Hamels?
God, I don't know. I stopped it. I like that, and I said,
"Oh, the Brewers, yeah,
Brewers.
They've got everything they need to land him.
They just don't have frontline starters. They need one more, and then they'll be like, we'll look at them and go, shit, they're good.
Yep.
Well, and apparently Syndergaard and DeGrom,
they're for sale.
The Mets, they're for sale. The Mets will listen to what people have to offer.
Well, let's tackle that one real quick right now, because I think we go round to Cole Hamels. I think the three teams we just said, and I'll throw in one more, Yankees.
Yeah, I think the Yankees are you always have to consider them in the market for anybody.
Yeah, but let's tackle the Mets. Two aces. I mean, DeGrom and Syndergaard. Who would not want to have these guys? So let's just.
What are we looking at for contracts? What's their contracts right now? Are they?
I believe DeGrom is 2 years of control, and Syndergaard might be 3. I'll look it up.
Look it up.
I mean, they're both great pitchers. Man, I don't know. I think you go after the guy that you can control the longest, obviously, because you're going to have to give up a ton for either of those guys.
You know what?
As a Cubs fan,
no, not even as a Cub fan, Elliott.
Just
you're starting to piss me off right now because you're a Bears fan too. And there's one guy that annoys the shit out of me in football, Clay Matthews.
Oh, you don't like the hair?
No, it's just the Gillette commercial. All the dumb faces, the monster thing he does whenever he happens to accidentally sack a quarterback these days.
Trips over somebody.
Yeah. Sneezes and accidentally intercepts something. The whole Syndergaard, Thor, let me grow my hair out blonde long. I've already been ruined by Clay Matthews, and you being a Bears fan, I'm disappointed in you that you didn't pick up on the exact same thing. Why the hell would you ever want him? I don't want a flex ball technology pitch man throwing on my mound.
Well, as far as contract status goes, DeGrom has 2 years left after this one, and Syndergaard has 3.
I go to DeGrom.
So theoretically, Syndergaard should have more value for the Mets because he has more control.
Yeah, but you know what? What's the DL between the two? I know the Mets are just a DL perpetual, but
right.
What's the DL? I mean, Syndergaard's he's on right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, probably DeGrom's probably the guy you go after.
I'd go DeGrom because it probably will cost you less.
Although you might be able
less control.
You might be able to balance that though with Syndergaard and say, look, yes, he has 3 years of control, but he's also coming now with 2 significant injuries in the last year, a little over a year.
Yeah, well, here's the whole
Yeah,
thing.
but do you want to bring somebody like that in who is prone to being hurt
for your
run?
Elliott, more importantly, your Bears fan should be coming out right now, which you're pissing me off doubly. He looks like fucking Clay Matthews, which you should be automatic disqualification. I'm not going after him.
But it depends on who the team is that we're talking about.
What, the White Sox? No, we're talking about your Cubs and our Cardinals.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about, though. Syndergaard might be, if they perceive that Syndergaard can be gotten for less than DeGrom, wouldn't it make more sense to go for Syndergaard?
You know how much I'll fucking hate anything north. You know how much I'll hate anything north of St. Louis if you have both Clay Matthews, Noah Syndergaard, all these shitheads existing up in the Chicago area or Milwaukee. Guys, what are you asking for? Are you asking for like nuclear war?
The Cubs got to do something, man. Between Tyler Chatwood's control issues and
Darvish coming back.
Return. Well,
he had a setback.
All-Star break.
Yeah,
and you still have a problem. You still have a problem in that rotation.
I would have to think though. No, in all seriousness, I would have to think DeGrom would cost you slightly less, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
because we are not the Mets, and it's further complicated by the fact that Sandy Alderson just stepped down because his cancer has returned, and so now that front office is in flux.
Yeah, too bad. I'll answer for my Cardinal side of this. They're not in play for either.
Here's my question for you: will the Cardinals be buyers at the trade deadline, or do you think they'll be sellers?
Well, you know what?
I obviously asking you to project forward a month, but still.
Here's my issue with what's happened over this last week, right? It's both my good feelings going into tonight and also my bad feelings last week. Have you guys ever been into a situation where you're at a baseball game or anything? It could be, Pete, you taking your son to a Little League game or you playing a softball game. Elliott puts you in the same situation where forecast says it's going to rain, but it's just spitting all day. It's not really raining or not raining. It's just kind of spitting and annoying the shit out of you. So nobody knows whether to call the game or to play it. And the Cardinals have been in that situation where you're kind of like, you look up at the sky and you're like, make up your mind. Rain or don't rain. Just do something. And because the Cardinals were at a low on Friday night, but because they came back and split, and because they took the series from the AL Central Division leaders, I think the problem is that they're still stuck spinning the tires. This front office can't justify doing either. This front office could make an argument for not selling, and they could make an argument for selling. So we're kind of stuck in this place where I don't think they're going to do anything, guys. I mean, honestly, I think they're going to maybe at most do a tweak a la Juan Nicasio that they did last year, or a lefty or something that's kind of like not top tier. So they're not going to be in play. The Cardinals are not going to be in play for anything because they're middle road right now. Like they're in contention, could easily fall out, but could easily be near the top. So as long as that stays there, they're not going to do shit.
So you think they'll be neither buyers nor sellers?
No, Pete. I think they're going to stand fast and tweak at best. There's going to be no major move that they're going to make.
Then that keeps them in third place for the remainder of the year and probably a game or two out of a wild card spot.
Although look at it,
which is going to piss off your fan base for missing the playoffs 4 years in a row. Or 3 years in a row. Sorry,
Elliott, when you can give it an opportunity to kick the can down the road and not make a decision. That's what this front office has proved that they'll do. So right now they have the space to kick the can down the road a little bit longer, which means they can delay a decision.
I will say this, and I agree with you that I think it's unlikely that they become sellers. but I think so because what do they have to sell?
Well,
they could potentially sell Ozuna, but
they could because he has.
They're going to get pennies on the dollar for that because he's hot now.
No, he's batting. His average is at 291, and
he's heated up.
Yeah.
They could sell Ozuna. I suppose they might be able to deal Carp to a team that could use.
They could
that off the bench. But what else? You can't sell.
I actually think right now you could sell Carpenter on a high because, and I only say this about his climb. He was down like to 140.
Right.
He's all the way up to like 250.
Right.
So they could sell him. I believe you're right when you said American League or DH, or I think he can go for a little bit more than a bat off the bench.
Well, I don't think with any other team, I don't think that he's your regular starter.
But I think no, I agree with that. But I think if you find the right American League team that would have that need for a DH or somebody
who could spell at multiple positions.
Right. That there is a home for him. So I think the Cardinals have a few things there this year. If they act on it, that they could get something. Tommy Pham, he's in that equation to deal. I even think that a guy like Harrison Bader is not untouchable. Certainly Colton Wong.
God, he's kind of a favorite right now of Cardinals fans.
Yeah, what are you going to get from Master Bader?
A happy ending.
Ron with the win.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean,
put it up on a tee and knock that son of a bitch out.
Ron,
you threw me a softball there.
I know, but you hit it. That was beautiful, man.
But Colton Wong could certainly. I mean, they locked him up for throughout his arbitration years, and I think a couple beyond, but. That's another. I mean, what you're talking about right now, if the Cardinals decide, you know what, we're done with this. This is a rotten core. We're gonna have to shed. You would be talking about guys like Fowler. They have to be, to your point, Pete. You've made several times. They'd have to find a bad contract.
Are you serious?
Uh-oh. Now Ron's plagued.
Now Ron is frozen.
We think we just lost Ron.
I guess we're gonna have to cover until he disconnects and then comes back.
Yeah.
All right. So, Elliott, let's put you in the St. Louis front office. What would you do?
I mean, Ron's right. It is tough. It is tough to kind of. God, if I'm St. Louis, you got to be thinking, okay, you're sitting at the last couple of years of Yachty being a Cardinal. He's probably not wanting to stick around for a total rebuild, and that would be them selling off, a lot of the stock that they have right now. They've got to want to try and make the playoffs, get into the playoffs this year. If I'm the front office, I'm making a couple of moves. I'm probably making a move to find somebody to get in there for Dex. And then I'm probably finding another pitcher if I'm them. I mean, it seems that their bullpen is figuring it out, especially with Greg Holland, kind of coming around that corner. I'm making a couple moves if I'm the Cardinals.
You hit on the head. I think what really is the big obstacle is Yachty. If they didn't have Yachty, who the fans want to retire as a Cardinal and who no doubt wants to retire as a Cardinal, they didn't have him locked into this contract long term, I think they would probably be more inclined to pull the trigger on a sell-off. But I think that they probably feel some loyalty to him. They're not going to trade him.
Probably a little bit of an obligation to try and get something done before he's done.
Right. I mean, there's no better way to alienate this fan base right now.
Right.
Trade Yachty. And so you have to cater to his desires. And I think you're right. I don't think he wants to be a part of a rebuild.
Imagine how he would feel if he's writing out his next couple years just as a bottom dweller.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to do that. I mean, if I'm him, and I'm sure the fans would just be beside themselves, he'd be like, hey, these are my last 2 years. Why don't you trade me to the Cubs or to?
You shut your mouth right now. I know that my internet connection kicked me out of this, so I jumped in on it. But you know what? Just Elliot, I'm sorry. We have already had the explicit tag. Just fuck you right now.
Or the Yankees or
Fuck you, Joe.
Yes, thank you, Pete.
I was just trying.
The front office has got to have some sort of plan to get him into the playoffs where he usually shines.
You have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Hey Ron, what's the latest on your injured pitcher? What's his name?
Waka waka.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, thank you, Pete. That was so crafty.
Come on.
I don't know. I don't know.
Soundboards.
I don't know what his timetable is to come back.
There's been nothing on him, has there?
I can't say that. And if you guys carry on your conversation, since I
well, the only conversation that we had was when you cut out. Elliott and I jumped in to cover, and I just asked Elliott, if you were in the St. Louis front office, what would you do? And you caught the tail end of it.
And Elliott said trade Yachty to the Cubs.
No,
that
was actually him being facetious.
Yeah,
He said you got to make a move.
Yeah, you got to make a move for a bet. And the Yachty came up because we were saying that the front office has to feel some sort of obligation to Yachty to not let his last years of his contract go out sitting at the bottom of the NL Central. He doesn't want to do it. Fans don't want to see it. And, I'm sure this team would love to make a playoff run with him in his, these last couple of years.
Elliott, that's exactly right. I mean, they're not going to let him spend his last 2 years, which could very well be his last 2 years as an active player, going through a rebuild or a retool. So I know we talked about the possibility earlier, like if the Cardinals were actually sellers, who would be on the block? None of that's going to happen as long as Yachty's manning the diamond behind the plate. That's just the reality. So they're going to try to stay competitive. They're not going to sell, but I would like to see them make at least one bold move. Now, when I say bold move, I don't mean Machado. That's not going to happen. They're not going to take that kind of risk. We've talked about it on here for what 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. That's not possible. They're not going to dispense that many resources, controllable, cost-controlled resources that could potentially contribute. They're not going to do that. So Machado is not going to wear birds on the bat. I have no hopes for that, and 90% of sane Cardinal fans don't have that expectation. But what we do think is that there are people out there potentially like Mike Moustakas. Josh Donaldson has had a setback in his quest to get back to healthy this year. So I think, you look at a few things like that and hey, you know what? Can you get Josh Donaldson on the cheap when you get around August? Could, right? And it may be low risk because the chances of him signing back with Toronto, I mean, who knows now, right? But I see them making a lesser but not top tier star power move.
Jose Abreu.
That's one I've been mentioning week after week, man. I think that could be. I think that's a lot. There's a lot to be said for that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, is it right-handed heavy when you pair him with Ozuna? Maybe, but you know what? Ozuna was paired with Stanton in Miami. I mean, hitters can hit. Hitters that can't hit can only hit left-handed or right-handed pitching. So where's Abreu land in that?
Well, he seems to be a hitter.
I think he can hit. You know what? Baseball needs hitters all around. Cardinals, non-Cardinals exclusive baseball, you need hitters.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's bad radio where we just go silent after that.
Yeah. That's a bad thing when we agree. When all three of us agree, that's what happens.
Yeah, because we kind of shake our heads at each other because we can see ourselves.
We can.
Yep.
But the people who are just downloading the audio are like, and
now they know what, and now they know what their brains need to be doing is they need to be thinking of the three of us just looking at each other and nodding. That's what
firing on shit cylinders.
Yes,
and like,
that's
what
right.
are these? Yeah,
that's right.
So as we come to a close this week, we just want to remind everybody, July 21st, it's now official because I dropped a shitload of cash. We will be at
I'm not paying you for it either.
That ain't funny, man. On July 21st, we will be at both ends of the Cubs Cardinals doubleheader. So if you're planning on being at the game, swing by section 233 in game 1, and then in game 2, try and find us in the bleachers. It's a big outfield. We'll be somewhere.
Is it both games, Pete? On the 21st?
We've got tickets for both games.
Sweet.
Yes, and our old friend from earlier this season and also from last season, Anthony Serafini, will be joining us for game 1. He won't be able to join us for the nightcap, but yeah, there'll be 5 of us in game 1 and 4 of us in game 2. So if you're in town on the 21st, hit us up. Let's grab a drink, man.
Grab a drink.
Yeah, we'll probably have more of a plan leading up to the game of where we'll be at.
Probably not. Oh,
yeah. Did you confirm that hotel reservation or?
No. In fact, I've lost it because I'm not staying there more than 2 nights, which they've let me know by email 6 days ago.
How long were you planning on staying there?
I thought we would go to Friday through Sunday, which I can't.
That's 2 nights.
Nope.
Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah, but I had it reserved. You're right. I don't have it more than 2 nights.
Okay.
Can't reserve the room. But if I call them and talk to them, maybe.
Okay.
Just maybe.
If you need a place to crash, just give me a call. You can stay at Elliott's.
I don't need a hotel. I wanted us to be able. I wanted us to be able to do. No, it wasn't the room. It was the conference room that we could podcast from.
I know. Well, I have a friend who owns a restaurant near there, so if we can't get their conference room,
lock it down. Lock it down.
All right, I'll reach out.
Lock it up.
No, just reach out. Just demand. I'm coming. I'm bringing my shit.
All right. When we're not live, you can find us at teamofrivalspodcast.com, on Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, and on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod. You can also follow us on Instagram at Team of Rivals Podcast. Contact us by email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com, or you can contact Elliott directly on Twitter at
TOR_Elliott. That's ELLIOTT.
Catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Radio Public, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Play. And you all know about the team store. I'm not going to aggravate Ron any more than is necessary. Ron.
Fuckingzazzle.com. Search for Team of Rivals Podcast. You'll find our stuff. If you want to don,
find the link at the top of the page.
Yeah, that's you're right. That's the easier way.
Because if you go to fuckingzazzle.com, you might
you might run into something nasty.
Now, is that www.fuckingzazzle.com?
No. Let's not confuse people. Go to teamofrivalspodcast.com. Hit the link at the top that says Team Store, and it'll take you there. Please, just anything. I don't care. Coasters are really nice.
Coasters are nice.
They are nice. All right, guys. Let's gather back next week. Are we doing a show next week, or are we taking a week off?
I was gonna chat with you guys afterwards.
All right, we'll hold it to afterwards. We outside shot. We do a show next week, but most likely everybody deserves a break. Everybody deserves a vacation, so we might talk to you in 2 weeks.
And we're thinking of you, the listeners, who deserve a break.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant. All right, everyone. Jesus Christ. Bye. Love you.